Hello everyone, it's Amy, and I am here for Build Your Stash and Craft Week 13. And this week we are making homemade stickers. And this one here is a little owl that I got off of an insert card in a magazine. And as you can see, they do actually still stick. They are sticky. They're not as sticky as like the packing tape originally. So, you know, when you put them on a project, you may want to put them, put a little stick glue on the back. But the really cool thing about them is they are see-through. So when you put this on a project, it is going to show what is behind it. But if you put it on white, then you are going to see exactly the picture that you took off of there. So these are just some pictures that I did yesterday. This is a flyer, or a magazine. This is a hard piece of the cardstock, and this one came out of a Reader's Digest book that I'm tearing apart, and that's just a picture that was in there. So I'm going to show you how to do those. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to show you these three. I've already put tape on and I've already burnished them. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set them in a bowl of warm water, not hot water, and get them to sink down in there. 1, 2, 3. I know I had 4 of them. And there we go. We're going to let those sit for a few minutes. They're going to just curl right up, and that's just what they do. We're going to let those sit for a few minutes while we make a couple. So, oops, I got this one wet. So we're going to start. I'm going to show you just what I do is just cut out what I want to put my tape on. And this one I'm going to kind of cut around the words because I don't want those. And then I'm going to put my piece of parchment here. Well, I just stuck my paper to my tape, or a piece of paper to my tape. Now the one thing that you want to make sure of is that your tape is clean, because I just stuck a piece of paper to that. I don't want to use that piece. Make sure that your tape is clean. So you want to go far enough out that your fingerprints are not where you're going to put it on your project. And on this one, I'm just going to start down here at the bottom. And you do want to make sure that you get it smoothed out really nicely. Now this is how you would do a large one. Just go ahead and put your tape on there, and then take another piece, which I lost. That's great. Normally what I do when I set this down is put a little stopper on there. I have this piece of paper here that has tape on it. And I usually set that on top of my roll of tape when I set it down. I tried putting it through there, but I don't find that it stays in there very well. You can do it however it's... Oh, this is going to just be a pain in the behind. But just to let you know that this could happen, I'll be right back when I get it unstuck. Okay, I'm back. I finally got it unstuck. And also where I was digging at it, it made marks in the tape, so I had to make sure that I extended out past that before I... Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just leave this attached to the roll and lay it down, just overlapping it about 1/8 of an inch. Just kind of lightly, gently. Okay, I got a little bad part in it there. I'm going to try and peel it back up slowly. There we go. Smooth that out. There. I had a bubble, And if you have a bubble, it's not gonna ruin anything. Well, you know, you may have a spot there that you might not be able to burnish down hard enough to get your color, but these are mixed media stamps anyways, or mixed media stickers. So then what you're going to do is you're going to burnish it down. Well, no, the first thing I'm going to do is cut off the extra tape. And in the case of this one, usually I do cut a little bit of the paper along with it. It makes it not stick to your scissors as bad. And but this one at the top, I'm going to follow. Be careful not to rip your tape as you're going. Sometimes it wants to stick to your scissors, and then your tape wants to tear a little bit. Okay, I'm going to cut a little bit off the bottom and cut a little bit off the side. And that comes off my scissors easily. Now I have to still get that top part. I normally do not make them round like this. I almost always make them rectangle or square. But because this one had the writing, I just didn't want that writing on there. Now I could have left the writing on there and then cut that off once my sticker was done. Okay, now that you've got it cut down, you're going to burnish it with a spoon or anything flat and give it a really good burnish, especially where that crease is. You want to make sure that that sticks together well. Go straight back and forth each way and up and down. Probably rocking the tripod, I do apologize. And around. You just really want to make sure that that picture makes really good contact with the tape. And then once you have that done, it's ready to go in the water. And the water is going to soften the pulp on the paper and make it so that you can rub the back of the paper off and leave the ink that was on the paper, leave that ink on the tape. So, and I saw Secret Soto make some of these. You could go check out her channel. She also used the packing tape to pull up dry paint on her jelly plate, which we will not be making the jelly plate next week. It will be week after. I was hoping I could make a half a batch, so it wasn't as expensive to buy the ingredients, but I tested it out even in a smaller pan, and a half a batch just would make a really thin jelly plate. And it's not worth saving a week to have a product that doesn't turn out right. So we're going to have to wait one more week after this, and then we will have enough to make a full jelly plate, so, or a full batch. Okay, so there we go. Now this one is ready. And I do usually do a little bit on the front and a little bit on the back. And I see that I have some tape here on the back from when I was trying to cut around there. That needs to come off, because if it doesn't, the water is not going to get to that spot, and we won't be able to rub that backing paper off. So you definitely want to make sure that you don't have any tape on the back. Oops. Alrighty. And I'm going to just set that one aside for a second, and we'll do one more. Let's do, this was off of a calendar. So let's just trim this down. And you can do it any size that you want to, just by adding your tapes together. Okay, there's something on there, so I'm going to avoid that spot. Am I going to be able to? Yes. And just put that on there. I'm going to cut off this end. Flip that over. Put it there so I don't lose my tape. This is actually quite wide. It should be thinner because I'm wasting that much tape every time, but that's better than wasting the whole way around when I had to peel it off the last time. and then had to go all the way around to get rid of the marks where I peeled it off. And there we go. And so we'll see how this one's going to work. But the first time, like I said, I saw Secret Soda do this. I don't know if I'm sure the other people have done it also. The first time I ever did this, I was 9 years old. And for Christmas, I got a slide projector. And in that slide projector, it came with these very special pieces of plastic. And you were to find a pretty picture in a book or in a magazine and stick this special plastic to it and then put it in warm water and peel off the backing. And then it had little slide mounts that were open, and the plastic was cut to the size of the slide mount. But you would put your plastic in there and close the slide mount. And then you could put the slide in your slide projector and turn it on, and your picture, whatever it was, would show up on the wall. So I think it's funny that, I mean, at the time, I thought this was like magic sticky paper. And as I got older, I figured it out. And I wish I still had that little slide projector. It'd be kind of cool, but I don't have it anymore. So there's that one, and that one's ready to go. Now what we're going to do, I'm going to slide some of these off the edge, and I will do some of them. And I just kind of wanted to show you too, like this was a piece of a quilt, and I can do the whole thing, or I can do it in strips. I have a little Mickey Mouse here, which I'm pretty sure he's going to need a little extra tape on him. I wanted to show you, this is a chair, and so all I want is the pink and white stripes. So what I'm going to wind up doing is just cutting it, because I don't want to waste too much of my tape. That's about the size of a piece of tape, and then I'm going to try and get those pink and white stripes. So we're going to move all this off of here, and we're going to try those first 4 that I threw in the water. They've been in there plenty long enough. So you can do it one of 2 ways. You can take it out of the water, which I'm going to do to start with so that you can see it easier. And then you're just going to rub on the paper, and it's going to start to pill up like this. So, and once it starts to pill, once you get it to pill in one spot, the rest of it you can just go and it will come off so much easier. Once you start to get this layer off, then you want to be careful, because if you rub too hard, you will rub what's on the other side, you will rub it off completely. But you will know that you're really getting it when it turns very clear. Like right here, it's starting to turn clear, if you can kind of see my finger into that, but over here, it's still not see-through yet. When it becomes see-through, that means that you have got down to the tape, and you don't want to rub anymore. And you also can kind of see in those spots that they're shiny. They're shiny like tape. So, and if you do not get all of the backing off, it's not a crime, If you say, oh, well, I'm kind of taking it off, and you can also dip your finger in the water to get it a little bit better. But if you're looking at it and you're thinking, oh, I really like that the way it is, and I really don't want to rub any paint off, or I'm starting to rub a little paint off in this spot, so I'm not going to rub any more in that spot, but I can see that there's still a little paper pulp there. That's totally fine. Whatever you're good with, however you want it to turn out, is the way that you're going to do it. So to get it to be sticky, you do have to get the pulp off. Wherever there's pulp left, it will not be sticky. But when you rinse this, wherever the pulp is completely gone and it's just ink and tape left, then it will be sticky. I showed one to Papa last night. Oh, it was the Little Michigan one. and he can't see very well. So I put a piece of copy paper behind it. And it stuck right to the copy paper. I had to stick it back in the water and get the copy paper off because it was stuck like tape. So I'm gonna, now the biggest thing is that you're gonna be tempted to dry this. If you dry it, like my temptation is always to just like dry it on my shirt. If you dry this with a paper towel or something, it is going to stick. Now the top side, which is the top side of the tape, isn't going to do anything, but the bottom side will stick. So I usually just take them and put them on something nonstick. Now you can put it on your parchment and it should peel back off again, but don't put it on paper or something unless you want it to be on paper. And so I've just got this here that I got from Papa that had name labels on it, so it's not sticky. And I already kind of wiped the top a little bit, but I just put them right on there. Now later on I may transfer it from here to another sheet that I have like this because it does still have a little dampness under it, and I don't want to put it away like that. But there's no, well, you could set them upside down for a while, sticky side up, and kind of let them air dry. That would probably be the best way, because you don't want to put something away that's damp or has water trapped under it because it could mold. So I would just say set them upside down, but don't be tempted to touch that with a paper towel because the paper towel will stick to it. So that's how you do these. And you just go ahead and give them a rub. And you know, it takes a few minutes to get to that first stage. Kind of go around and around. Once you get that started, then it just peels off so easy. And then it's a matter of continuing to remove paper until you're happy with what you have left. So I'm going to just do a quick, just take this top layer off. I'm not down completely to the tape yet. And I can tell that because it's not shiny. But I'm going to take that top layer off. Now we're getting shiny up by his face. But see? And then it's just a matter of, we've got a little white left here, but you can see that it is shiny by his face. And in these areas, I have most of the pulp off. If I rub too hard, I'm going to take the face away. So, but you just continue doing that until you're happy with what you've got. And then stick it on your sticker sheet or set it upside down for a little while to dry like this. And then go ahead, once it's dry, now that's getting pretty dry, and it's still sticky a little bit. They're not super sticky, but they are still sticky. And I'm going to stick that on there. And there we go. And like I said, the coolest thing is they're see-through. I'm going to finish these, and then I'm going to throw these two in the water, and we'll come back and do a little bit more. Okay, I'm back, and I have, these are the first two that we peeled, and then I also did the vases and the little girl. Now on this one right here, I did leave, you can see once they're dry, you can actually see where your pulp is left. And I didn't want to go too far on this one, because it's such a detailed picture. And then the one thing that I did forget to tell you is that white, like his hat is white. White does not show up very well. Even if you put that on a dark color, his white hat will not show up really well. So when you're looking at pictures, that's something for you to remember, is that white does not necessarily show up very well. So the other two that we did, I have here, and I had said there was two ways to do this. So the one way is to take it out and put it on your parchment and rub it that way, or otherwise you can leave it in the water and you can rub it that way. Now the only difference really is that when you're rubbing it in the water, you have a little bit more lubrication there so that it comes off a little bit easier, but it's harder to see what you're doing. Once you start getting that pulp in the water, it's harder to see, you know, like how far you've gone, whether or not you can kind of feel if you've got all the pulp off or not. But by the time that you feel that you think you've got the pulp off, you may have rubbed the ink off also. So I prefer to do it on the table, but you can do it in the water like this. And whether you do it in the water like that, or whether you just like use the water as a rinse agent for your fingers and to maybe get, see, now I've got that already. This part is off, and then I just need to finish this here. But make sure, no matter what, whether you do it this way or whether you just kind of use that to rub it off, or every once in a while, like I might rinse them off because I can't quite tell where I'm at, don't throw that water down your sink. So because you've got that pulp can clog your sink. You know, papers normally have some form of a binder in them, you know, which is basically a glue. And so you don't want that stuff going down your sink. Again, you can put your water in some kitty litter, and then, you know, the kind that gets hard, and then when the kitty litter gets hard, you just throw it in the garbage. Or you can, I do toss it outside. Probably shouldn't do that either, but it's better than putting it down my sink. So, but this one came off very fast. Now this one has probably actually been sitting in the water for about probably 20 minutes because I had to do the download of the other before I could use my phone again. So it's probably been sitting in the water about 20 minutes. That may be why it was so easy to get off. Now I can still see a little bit of white pulp on there, but not too much. And I think that looks really good. It's nice and see-through. So I'm going to just set it upside down over here and then put it on my non-sticky paper after it dries. And then the last one that we have here, this is the one I really wanted to show you, this one, because this is the one where we put two pieces of tape together. So I want, now remember, we overlapped that tape. If you didn't overlap the tape, you'll wind up with two pieces of tape, and then you can just, when you're going to put them on something, you can just very carefully put them right next to each other to complete the picture. I prefer to overlap my tape because then I don't have to worry about trying to get my picture lined up with the two separate pieces. And if I decide for some reason that I want to, you know, split my picture, I can always cut it and place them, you know, like a 1/4 of an inch apart or something like that if I want to do that. But, so this is coming off really well, but I have rubbed off. I was sitting there talking and not paying attention, and I rubbed the blue right out of the sky. So that is, once you get that top layer off, then you do have to pay attention to what you're doing and rub lighter so that you're just getting that last, basically you've got your back layer, then you've got the center layer, and then you've got the ink. So if you're careful with that center layer, you won't remove your ink. But if you rub on it too hard, you'll go through that layer and right into the ink, and you'll take the ink right with it. I'm going to rinse this one off a little bit. This one kind of reminds me of at Easter time when my kids were little. There were these plastic, like shrink plastics, that you'd put them on the egg, drop them in hot water, and they'd shrink around the egg. I don't know why, maybe just because of the shape of this or something, because some of them would be, they were all about this wide, and then some of them would have a little bit of the head of the rabbit or something would be sticking up over the edge. I think that's why I was thinking that. So, got most of the pulp off of this one. And I really don't want to overdo this one because I really love it. So I may leave, oh, I hope the camera's not shaking too much. I may leave a little bit of this pulp on here. And if you leave a little pulp and later on you think I really don't like that, you can stick it back in some water, let it sit for a little bit, and then take the rest of that pulp off. Or if you think you have it all off, and after it dries, then because after it dries, you can see the whiteness of the pulp. So if you think you've got it all, and then after it dries, you see a lot of white, and you don't like that much white, stick it back in the water and just give it another rub like this. All of a sudden, this is coming off really well. And it all probably just depends on the paper and everything else. Sometimes rubbing straight works better. Sometimes going in circles works better. Sometimes leaving some of that pulp on there while you're doing it actually kind of helps give a little friction. And I also was thinking, if you leave a little extra paper, you'd also have to have a little extra tape. But if you leave a little extra paper around the edges are always the last place to kind of get clean. So if you left extra, you could get clean what you wanted and then just cut that extra off, and you don't even have to clear the pulp off of it. Let's give this one a rinse. Got a big piece of pulp just out of the water. I just want to show you, this is what it looks like and see through. But isn't that just darling? I just love it. I love that picture. And I really do like the way that the cards work. They're not really postcards. They're not slick like a postcard. They're just the kind that come in the inside of a magazine. But I am going to clean this up. Oh, and I had to get a new piece of parchment paper because I rubbed the other one so hard I rubbed a hole in my parchment. So the other thing that might work really... Start that again. The other thing that might work well would be to use one of your folders to rub on that you use for your watercolored paper. Oh, and I also did Mickey Mouse. So I don't think that I taped off anymore. But I'm going to put him in the water, and I am going to do him up before I come back. And I will show you him, and then I will show you what we're going to need for next week. Okay, we're on the final stretch. This is what our little owls look like after they dried. And I think those daffodils look gorgeous. And there's the little Mickey Mouse I wanted to do. And then I just wanted to show you, now it doesn't actually fit on this card that I had folded, but I did want to just show you how gorgeous. And I'm going to just lay this on here lightly because it will stick if I press it all. But look at how cute that looks on that, what is it? On the watercolor paper that we did. So, and you can just adjust it to where you think it would look best. And look at that, you could use that in a journal page. You could use it on a card. It's so cute. I just love the way that those colors show up through their bellies. I just think that that's wonderful. So that's what you can do with those. You can put them on any kind of a project that you wish. And don't be disappointed when you have some that don't turn out, because that's one thing I remember from when I was younger, because I only got a certain number of those magic special plastic sticky papers. Some of them just didn't turn out, and it was so disappointing. But you have a lot of packing tape. If it doesn't turn out, just move on to the next one. So, and, you know, if part of it looks better than other parts of it, it still may look great in a mixed media. Because if you're going to be layering, you can cover up the part that you don't like, or, you know, it may not even be noticeable in mixed media that you've got a part that you don't like. As a matter of fact, here where I had rubbed off the blue on accident, it just looks like a cloud. And that really was all solid blue. So that wasn't a cloud, but it looks like one. So, and that's really cute. It says on there, I will always love you. I just think that's so cute. And I just wanted to kind of show you, while I was cutting out, looking through magazines and cutting out pictures, I also cut out some alphabet letters. Oh, there's an A. And I just cut some of my envelopes in half and used those to put my letters in. And then I also did punctuation and numbers. And I also did words and pictures. Now for the words and the pictures, I wished I would have done just a full-size envelope because these words won't fit in here. And actually I probably will do another one. And then even like this picture in itself does not fit in, it wouldn't even fit in a long one, but I just loved him. I thought he was cute. And but it fits in there good just like that. It holds it all together. Just put it under that flap. But so when you're going through and looking for pictures to do this with, don't forget to cut out some letters so you can do some ransom letters and some punctuation and some words. If you see words that you think are cool, you know, I've just got that one says make, that one says breathing deep, better, because, you know, you can use, you know, better with something else. So don't forget that. You don't need the phrase necessarily that they have, but the words that you can use to put together to make your own phrase. So don't forget to collect some things like that because they work really great in different projects. And so like a lot of people will have stamps and they'll stamp the word love. Well, we don't have any stamps yet, but we can use our ransom letters and find an L, an O, a V, and an E and put it on there, and it's still going to say love, and it's going to look really cute. And the fun thing about doing things like this is when you make a card or you make a project, those are your embellishments. You've made them. You know, they're going on the card that you made with the paper that you made. You know, I mean, that's really your card. There's nothing wrong with putting embellishments that are bought on a card or on a project, but it is really cool and satisfying to know that the things that you put on there, you also made. So I hope that you liked these. And what we're going to need for next week is some little clothespins from the Dollar Tree. So that'll be $1. We'll put our other $4 aside, and then we will have enough after this week. After we make the clothespins, we'll have enough to do our jelly plate. So, and if you can't find these little tiny clothespins, even the regular clothespins are kind of nice to decorate up. I've got both. You know, I mean, I've made both before. I just saw these and they were tiny and I thought they'd be cute. And actually, maybe the bigger ones would actually be better. Maybe they'd be more useful, but I just liked cute, so I got cute. But if you can't find these, get some regular clothespins. Or if you don't want these little ones, get some regular clothespins. So thank you very much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed our transparent sticky tape. And I hope that you all have an outstanding day. Bye-bye.